How's it going, everybody? Central Park Joe here on a beautiful Friday afternoon. And I was going through my comments on the YouTube video that I made regarding what I eat for dinner, what we typically eat for dinner. I think in that video it was just me. I think Mrs. Central Park was traveling. And someone commented, I believe she's your BFF Tiff on YouTube, and her channel is pretty cool. And she asked me about my blood clot issue that I had, and I thought I would address that in this video here today. So back around late 2017, I started to notice some swelling on my right ankle, and I just thought, since I work out all the time, and at the time I was working in retail, I was standing around on my feet all day in a retail store for 10-12 hours. I was also training people in and around that schedule, and I was also doing my workouts. I just chalked it up to overuse. I thought maybe I'd strained like an Achilles tendon or the soleus muscle or the gastroc, and the calf muscle or whatever. The ankle is a very, very complex joint, and so many ligaments, tendons, and things cross over there. I just thought it was just normal wear and tear. So I kind of laid off doing legs for a while, and I would notice that at night it was worse, and in the morning I'd wake up and it'd go down, not all the way down to where my left ankle was, but pretty far down. So I really didn't think anything of it, since I really had no pain associated with it. This continued on for the next few months, and then I started to notice on my right adductor, one of the veins there was starting to get a little bit swollen. And again, working out hard, my diet was dialed in pretty good. I was starting to get a little bit leaner, and I just thought it was the natural effect of the fat being stripped away from my body that the veins were becoming more prominent. Again, no pain, nothing to the touch where it would hurt or anything. So we'll fast forward to, say, the summer of 2018. Mrs. Central Park and I went out to Seattle for a wedding. Flew out there, no problem. Stayed in an Airbnb that had a little backyard, so I was able to work out. I was able to do my thing. And wedding was great. Come home. The next day I wake up and I noticed that the swelling in my ankle had gone down considerably, but the veins along that inner part of my leg, starting from my calf up to where the adductor muscles are, or the inner part of my right leg, were much more pronounced and swollen, and they actually hurt. I felt that there was something not right there. But again, I was kind of happy because the swelling on my ankle was down. So I thought, for sure, I'm on the right path. Whatever this situation that happened with my ankle, kind of worked around it. And so maybe I was starting to heal up a little bit. When Mrs. Central Park took a look at it, she was like, "Joe, that looks horrible. It could be a blood clot. You should get it checked out." And those words, "it could be a blood clot," kind of made me stop and think. And so what I did was I took her advice and I called a vascular surgeon. A couple days later, I went in for the appointment, sit down, fill out the paperwork, blood drawn, the whole thing, 9 yards. They physically examined it and said, "Well, that doesn't look good. Let's get you up on the table for a sonogram." So the sonogram tech started at my ankle, worked his way up, got to the most swollen part of the vein in my leg, and stopped dead in his tracks. His face went like he'd just seen a ghost. And he's like, "Look at this," and pointed to me on the screen. Looked like a jelly bean in my vein. He said, "That's a giant blood clot that's making its way towards the deep veins in your leg." And he said, "If that enters your deep veins, you will be dead within minutes." And, I'm like, holy moly. So the doctor comes in, she looks at it. The nurse comes in, and who was the person who made the appointment for me, and they're like, "Oh my." And the nurse started apologizing to me. She's like, "I'm so sorry, Joe. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If I would have known it was this bad, I would have gotten you in here right away." So immediately the doctor writes me a prescription for blood thinners and says, as fast as you can, get to the drugstore, immediately start taking these. And this was, I believe, a Wednesday of that week. So she said, come in that Friday. I want to take a look. So you can imagine how I felt at this point. The sonogram tech went on to tell me that it was less than a centimeter before it entered into my veins, the deep veins, which would have killed me. So sure enough, I rushed to the pharmacy, got the prescription filled, started taking the blood thinners. Was on pins and needles for the next couple of days because, heck, I didn't know if they were going to work or not. Go see her that Friday. Gets me up on the table for a sonogram. Said, there's good news, Joe. The blood clot is dissipating. It's stopped moving and it's breaking up. Continue the blood thinners and we'll get you in here and check on you on a timely basis. So at that point, I was going into the vascular surgeon pretty much every week for the next month or so. So on the last visit of that initial examination process, she said that she wanted to do a couple of procedures to remove these veins that were giving me problems. And so for the next several months, I went into her office and had, I think it was 4 procedures to remove different veins and the main vein that caused the blood clot. And it was very, very harrowing, and it was really an eye-opening experience because up until that point, I really never had suffered anything like this. I never really thought about me being at risk for something along these lines. There's really no history on my dad's side. On my mom's side, it's hard to tell since no one's around from that side pretty much. But the sonogram tech asked me at one point, were you fatigued, or did you feel like at any point that you were having trouble exercising or staying awake or things like that? And at the time, I didn't really think anything of it. But looking back on it, and this is where, whenever I say pay very close attention to your body, looking back on it, these 3 fingers on my right hand were oftentimes numb, and they'd go numb as if I were out in sub-zero weather, but it wouldn't happen in the cold, it would happen indoors. And I was finding that during more aerobic-based exercises, I was gassing out earlier. I never really put 2 and 2 together to think that they were related to this blood clot issue, but apparently they were, because due to this blood clot blocking circulation to the right side of my body, the right side of my body wasn't getting oxygen, wasn't getting nutrients, wasn't getting blood. So I was tired. It was only half of my body that was able to utilize my aerobic system. And again, the circulation in these 3 fingers was basically non-existent. So that's really the story. I go back every 6 months now. I'm finally off blood thinners, but I still take a baby aspirin daily. And I know someone else mentioned in the same YouTube post that something to the effect of because I'm a big fan of eating fruits, in particular bananas and apples, and mentioned something to the effect of I could just eat a candy bar instead of eating fruit, because let's face it, 3 apples a day is a lot of apples for most people, but it's one of the pardon me, it's one of the things that help, according to the sonogram tech, that help with circulation. He encouraged me to eat more apples. And so look, I'd like to eat candy, and who doesn't love candy? Like, I'd rather eat 3 Musketeers bars, but in this case, I like apples, I like bananas, and they're really part of keeping me healthy, along with hydration, along with paying really close attention to how my body is feeling. So again, the lesson learned here is whether it's your training, whether it's your nutrition, whether it's just the way you're feeling, like, pay very close attention to these things. Pay very close attention to stress. Didn't seem like a big thing at the time, but it turned out to be a very big thing. on a much lighter note. If you're eating something, say you're eating for instance, for me, if I'm eating coconut, I love coconut. As soon as I eat it though, I feel my stomach kind of going like, right? It doesn't work for me. So I pay very close attention to that. And so once I eliminated foods like coconuts from my diet, my tummy starts feeling better. Same thing with training. If the workout calls for 100 Mike Tyson push-ups and by the 10th one, your elbows aren't feeling good and your lower back feels like it's going to go out, stop and do something else. It's not worth the risk of injuring yourself. It's not worth the risk of impeding good digestion and good health. And certainly if you feel anything that's out of ordinary with your body, whether it be something to the touch, whether it be a visual thing, whether it be something that's changing, by all means go and get that checked out, because it could be an indication of something that's much more serious than what you're seeing on the surface. So anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. It's very important that you do, because it could be a matter of life and death for you. So once again, thank you so much. I just hit 5,000 subscribers, so I love all of you guys, all of you beautiful and amazing human beings that tune into me every day, that watch, that listen, that comment, and I really love all of you guys, and I'm going to bring you some really good content going forward. So thank you all very much. Have a great day, everybody. Remember to make your thing the thing. I love you all.